Yo, what's up guys, welcome back semuanya. Gimana kabar kalian? Mudah-mudahan baik-baik aja ya guys ya. Kita hari ini bakal live stream Genshin Impact berhubung kemarin itu ada update ya guys ya, patch yang 4.2. Kemarin gua harusnya malam tuh live stream guys, cuman Genshinnya kayak pepek guys ya. Genshinnya kayak pepek guys ya. Gua update aja per jam-jam kagak kelar-kelar cok. Ntar ini bakal ini guys ya, bakal jalanin quest yang mana sih quest ya? Oh, kita bisa lihat ini. Oh udah ada event baru ya. Oh, ntar ini. Kita bakal Archon Quest dulu hari ini, Archon Quest. Habis itu kalau masih sempet ya. Kalau kita tidak ini kita langsung ke apa namanya? Story questnya Furinrin ya. Terus itu baru kayak event sih kita tipis-tipis aja guys ya. Bentar guys, ini ini kita nggak usah ini lah, nggak usah ngambil gini-ginian lah guys ya. Megir, bentar kita ini quest dulu. Mana sih quest ini? Penyamaran sang pendosa, ikuti target. Oke, langsung guys. Nah, di mana nih? Sini kah? Oh enggak. Sini kah? Bener nggak sih guys itu di situ lokasinya? Oh, FPS gua kayaknya belum gua setting ya. Oh, FPS-nya kayak ini banget sih. FPS-nya 60 kok guys. Kok kayak ini banget ya? Kayak apa ya? Kayak kurang tajam gitu loh. Kita ambil posisi PW, lu ngambil posisi PW lah biar PW guys. Main nyantui. Dong apa ya kayak drop gitu ya FPS-nya. Kayak delay gitu loh dari pencetan. Balik ke mes. Oke, kita balik sini. Sukumonnya juga sudah hampir habis. Oke.
Now for a little rest after breakfast. This is the life. Wait a sec. Isn't something important supposed to happen today? Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on, we've got to go complete the release procedures.
Oh, ini lanjutannya tuh dari pas kita di benteng itu guys ya. Masa tahanan sudah habis masa tahanan. Oh, kita ke resepsionis. Berarti ini kita lantai paling atas ya. Kalau kan dia makin ke bawah penjaranya tuh makin ke bawah kan ya. Mana resepsionisnya? Oh, ini resepsionisnya anjir.
Please sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon sign.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. What?
Konfliknya langsung mulai.
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks.
Let's go ask the Duke.
Oke, kita tanya si Risley. Kita sudah officially keluar dari penjara, guys.
Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two.
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I've developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what
So, the fortress...
if you recall our last incident.
Huh. You... by the way...
I believe...
Wait, seriously?
Aha, yes.
Yep. It's you two. That's right. Today is our last day in prison. But now that Oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of... Then be sure to come back and...
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go. The guards will escort you out.
You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries.
Ah, so you do have a polite side, I see.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're Yeah, don't worry. We'll come back to see you.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best. Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of We should probably... You're going to see Monsieur Nervilette?
I'm sure just your...
I believe...
You're right.
Turu. Palais Mamoni ya. Oh, di atasnya jauh, Cok. Oh, kita ketemu si New Pilot di sini biasanya. Sini kan kantornya si New Pilot kan? Kita pakai jongole, guys. Masa kembaran ketemu kembaran?
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies. Monsieur Nervilette did say you'd be welcome at... Excuse me. I'll be right there. Sorry,
Everyone's so busy. Seems a...
Anjay, ala-ala transisi.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just... In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like...
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your...
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede, and it appears that you've managed to complete all the release paperwork.
That's right. And we came here to see you right away.
A massive whale.
Massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Oh iya, terakhir tuh kita kelar-kelar di questnya tuh ngeliat paus yang gede itu loh.
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Telat. Therefore, we can only assume that Child is presently immersed in primordial seawater.
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right. Paimon felt it too.
Kalau dia terbang guys. Mana dia ngerasa gempa
We
aja?
asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what I was busy with a moment ago. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose? Oh no.
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time and have already returned to normal now. However, I still have a bad feeling. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than it appears.
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her.
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first.
There's no time to lose. Let's get going.
Please be careful.
Pozong, di mana Pozong? Oh, di bawah dia lokasi. Oh.
Oh no. What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We need to make sure she's still...
Oh ya, Navi orang sini ya? Iya teh.
We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Anjir tiba-tiba digentengnya orang.
There's someone on the roof over there.
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance.
Help! I'm not young anymore. How will I survive on my own?
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have...
Just hang in there.
Mana tuh di bawah ya?
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a...
Yes.
Demoiselle, there was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to...
He's wounded?
He fell, so it's probably...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wound...
Understood.
All right. I'm sorry. Where were we?
The situation in Poisson...
Right. Allow me to... A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise.
Suaranya
At
kurang
first,
kencang.
everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. But before we knew it, the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people, everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water, didn't have a chance to escape.
Oh,
Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured in the stampede, and some people fell from
Bagus banget
significant
suara.
heights. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been a lot of casualties. Fortunately, The water began to recede after some time, and the chaos came to an end. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of poisson are still hazardous. To ensure everyone's safety, I've asked the people there to leave as soon as possible. No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the residents.
How awful. And all of this just came out of nowhere.
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You don't know how much it means to me. I really can't express...
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Silver.
Mademoiselle, we've got a situation here.
Sorry, I need to go for now.
And off she goes.
Beli berbicara dengan banyak orang memutuskan keputusan dan
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary... Of course, traveler.
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
Hah? Kuburan di mana kuburan? Di atas, oke.
Into the wind.
Anjir. Mana? Kagak bisa dipanjat.
Follow the wind.
Lah guys. Itu di luar nggak sih dia? Posisinya.
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson, Paimon doesn't think there'd be a ton of people here visiting graves.
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so exhausted.
Navia? Navia?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver. They won't ever come back here again. What should I do?
Sama Silver tuh yang pelayan dia itu bukan sih?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still, they were helping evacuate the residents, but they couldn't leave in time. And they were caught in the seawater.
What should we do?
I've known them for so long. And I know they weren't afraid. But I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just gone.
Oh iya guys, bener yang pelayannya itu, Cok.
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that.
I can understand.
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring...
How could Matt get to the cemetery?
Buying yourself a plot.
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey!
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered Master's closest companions, no?
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously.
Bagus banget ya suaranya si
I'll
ini, Cok.
remember your
Yang isi
request.
suara ini.
But
Apa Navia
I'd
ini?
really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd make the journey even if I had to visit you two somewhere else. I promised to let them rest in peace here. But here I am breaking that promise. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this. I don't usually cry, really.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better. But
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, Malus and Silver have helped me so much. But by contrast, I'm so sorry.
you can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stick.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, Francine, Karina, Daisy Ray, Joinville, Jolienne, Esson, as well as Malus and Silver. So, everyone else.
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't Malus and Silver.
You're right. What you said just now...
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
Oh, oke.
The knave? What are you doing here?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate them to higher ground. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you. Very...
Wait, do you two know each other?
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navia?
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even crossed my mind that a Fatui Harbinger would come looking for me. Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work so quickly.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before, and it's extremely important for us to know who we're working with. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good or ill. You've witnessed that firsthand. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending disaster. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be...
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. As Paimon said, I've never liked you.
You're right. Water is...
So, you're one...
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things... By the way, traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh? This isn't right. Paimon
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Miss Navia listening in. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the primordial sea. Previously, it was the fortress of Meripede's sluice gate, and this time it was the water levels in Poisson. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearth's intelligence network with you. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to ancient times and seem to be worth investigating in many. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is because my people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck. And at present, we're all busy prioritizing the rescue effort.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to assist affected residents. Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such, even though you are not from the house. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their friendship with you to be.
Oh, that's
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you
got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins.
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss
But are you sure you're up to exploring?
Well, I'm sad, yes. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father's successor, I must live up to the hopes he had in me. Besides, I'm also doing this for myself. I need...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right, the ruins are to the south of
Di selatan Poison.
Here's the map.
Okay, the three of us.
Oke, let's go. Meter. Ada chestnya kah di sini? Ada isinya.
By royal decree...
Bow your head.
Bisa suka ada nyaru-nyaru gini. Ke arah sana. Ting 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 ting. What? Ntar kayak di atas tuh. Di mana tuh? Oh, di mana tuh? Di mana tuh ya? Gue dengar suaranya nih. Oh, bukan guys. Di atas. Gak ada. Apa ada jalan di sini? Lohe. Oh, di bawah berarti ini, guys. Tandain dulu, tandain. Sini ada bintang. Kita berikan pertanda ya, lu pertanda. Ngarah kemana nih? Siapa tahu lewat sini kan ngambil. Bener di laut sini ya. Itu yang di Liu kan sih? Ini Liu ya bawahnya ya. Itu kelihatan dong. Yang di Liu kelihatan dong anjing. Mana tujuan arahnya nih? Tujuannya ke atas sini. Ke tempat tujuan. Sabar. Apa anjir cuma terbang gitu tok guys. Nggak fungsi cok. Cuma begini enak nih, kita bisa lihat ada chest nyaru nih. Ada di situ doang. Satu di bawah sini. Oh satu lagi ada di bawah situ cok. Satu di kiri.
Time to go. Another one with nature.
Oh, it's revealed.
Silence!
I can still. Let me try.
Masih ada di situ.
Let the record show that I verbally consent to relinquishing these items into your possession.
Ya ada something tuh. Kita ke kiri situ dulu guys. Oh oke. Oh tuh di atas ya.
Ignorant and bold into the wind.
Gather! Settle down!
Ini ada 3 biji ternyata.
Let the mighty be humble!
Out of my sight. Where are you? This body belongs to ice and snow.
Abandoned property belongs to whoever finds it first. So, it's legally yours now.
It's legally yours now. Ini jatuh-jatuhan mulu gua anjir. Oh itu di situ. Ini juga ada jalan tapi kita nggak tahu cara masuknya. Bentar guys, ada celeng, ada celeng. Apa pakai? Nah, anjir lawannya beginian, coba oke.
One with nature.
Solidify!
Midnight Phantasmagoria!
This is order!
Cry out my illustrious name.
Teori menyeberang mudah, teori menyeberang mudah. Jauh juga ya. Jalannya cok. Nah begini mah gebukin aja nih.
Wind strike.
By royal decree.
Suncrab nggak tahu ini, nggak fungsi buat masak-masak doang kayak. Masih ada di situ. Oh ini kah, di sini kah? Oh ini nih guys.
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about? Whoa, talk about old.
Talk
They
about
seem
old.
to be pretty ancient, all right.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Kita bisa pakai si Napia ini kah? Biasanya sih kalau masuk domain gini kalau lagi ada karakter bisa dipakai biasanya. Biasanya. Oh enggak aja.
The wind knows it.
Stabilize!
Odds reveal.
Dada Kondala.
Ini kagak dapet chest apa-apa gitu, nggak ada chestnya apa? Ada jalanan ke bawah nih. Oh nggak boleh kena air gitu cok. Dengan polosnya gue nyebur anjing.
What? Over here isn't safe.
Refleks dewa.
Bow your head.
Kita nggak boleh kena air tuh guys. Kena air langsung fail cok.
This place has also been contaminated by primordial seawater.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most
Langsung
likely
larut,
dissolve
eh.
the moment they fell in.
Right. You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous, and it won't be any help for you to just stay here. Don't get by my wrong. We're not saying you're useless. It's...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to...
Oke.
Complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait?
The water levels here are unstable. I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up.
All right.
Terus kita ke arah mana kita?
Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Time to go.
Oke.
Time to go.
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge. Run for it!
Anjing kinap, Cuk. Nyemplung dong dia. Nyemplung gak sih, guys? Hah?
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Maloose.
Oh.
Yes, it would appear.
That's quite possible. However,
Oh, right. It must have slipped my mind when I dozed. This is a familiar feeling, yet
is something the matter,
Oh, no. No, I'm fine.
Demoiselle.
I was just trying to recall what...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our...
We were headed to see how things...
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Maloose. And Mr. Silver, too. It's good to see you.
How have you been?
I've been great. They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor Obina was getting fed up with them.
Sometimes force is required to...
That's right.
Oh, yes. What, Miss Navia? These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done without your help, so this is a little token of our appreciation. I hope you won't...
Did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much. I'll certainly take them. Maloose.
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs.
Very well.
Wait.
Very well.
Something seems to be off here. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, your name is Burnett, correct?
Burnett?
That's right. Is something...
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met. I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still haven't...
Huh?
Well, now, did you...
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking
Elisa.
for you. Please, come to the Opera House.
My trial? Wait.
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about time now.
Oh?
Lulu. Ini nggak tahu memori apa orang-orang larut tuh emang ngumpulnya di sini, guys ya. Masih belum terjawab.
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
Okay.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly excited about something. Karina, Desiree,
Nah ini yang nama-nama yang tadi korban-korbannya anjir.
Julien, Essen. Why are so many people? And as for the judge, huh? Where's Monsieur Neuvillette?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, sir.
All right, but are you sure you can stand behind me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on. Do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering! Could someone...
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor, the head of the Spina di Rasula, someone held in high regard by every soul. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. If anyone in need reached out to you for help, you responded. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly everyone in the Spina di Rasula fought for the well-being of those in Poisson.
Wait a moment.
Okay. Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us.
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot.
Ah, well, if that's what...
How wonderful!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's guilty.
Stay here, Navia. You're one of us.
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing of her utterly independent mind.
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't stop her.
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. She merely acted as an individual, extending her hand to help others. Please do not mistake her actions as being otherwise.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the nation of justice, the nation of Hydro. Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro, and in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to exist as an individual. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed to become individuals?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver, and that is how we will...
Demoiselle.
Silver, it hurts. I remember now. Everything that seemed Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect you to the very end.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority,
And in the nation of trials, the majority... Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses.
Jadi Ocean itu.
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us.
Miss Navia, she...
Silence.
Ini ada nivelet.
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place. What, can't bear to leave us behind or something?
Loose.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now.
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
Okay.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they were...
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I
What is it?
I think I saw two Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Vache?
Perhaps those two Oceanids were the people you saw in your dream.
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's something we could chat about?
Why do you look so stiff all of a sudden? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward with...
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more awkward to call us over like this and then have nothing to talk about?
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the Fortress of Meropide has not been too much for her, has it?
No way, don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's an
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewinne would need a lot of time to understand the world of humanity, just as I have.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope that everything is going well in the Fortress of Meropide.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neuvillette,
Ngapa nanya aja berenang aja?
Yes, of course.
This isn't going anywhere. Let's try something else.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. They had even transported a large quantity of supplies to the area. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She informed me that she had asked you to investigate the ancient ruins here.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents.
I'm sorry to... I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
Oro. Gak ada chest apa?
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
Ya. Ya elah. Itu ke bawah lagi.
One with nature.
Wicet banyak orang sih.
Watch out! There are rocks falling over here!
Midnight Bantu. Silence.
Iya ada runtuh-runtuh lagi tuan.
Into the wind.
Seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Ada 2 orang lagi dalam.
Falling leaves. Adorn my night. Wind strike.
Like,
Bow your head. The times beckon.
Oh, ini ke atas lagi, guys. Ya, bentar guys, gue toilet.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as an offering.
Hah?
Could
Oh,
we
ini ada
take them
gambarnya
down
si
and have a look?
fossil lore nih.
Perhaps we should just leave them be for...
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is...
The surrounding walls.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record
Saya
the
memang sudah
history
selayaknya
of its
dihancurkan,
future
akan
here in
mengabadikan
its
sejarah masa
time.
depannya di masa lalunya.
Say what?
Mengabadikan sejarah masa depannya di masa lalu.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that Fontaine should be destroyed?
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the second slate, for example.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing this... what is this? Some kind of island in the...
And is that Lady Farina
Barang
in
ketiga.
the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
Oh, ini kayak ramalannya tuh ini guys, dari tablet batu ini nih.
And is that a ring of people around her?
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Apain tuh dia?
More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it, most likely due to us missing the first slate. I am very sorry.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette. Deciphering ain't...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at these slates. This says that it's the history of the future, right? That means the prophecy's sure to come true.
I really hope it doesn't mean that.
Still, Paimon feels like these images are kind of weird when you look at them together.
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
Yang keempat, buatan tenggelam. Harusnya disimpan sebelum yang ketiga, Archon Hydro jatuh ke air dong.
And yet the order is reversed here.
Oh, harusnya ini dulu baru ini ya.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And if not, why would she be in such a posture? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their...
But who would have created these slates and left...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Anjir, dikasih chestnya chest setengah matang isu.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is. There's...
You still have energy for that, Navia? Paimon...
Just head back to the Fluvsandra and have a rest then.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Rest well, everyone. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office.
Are you really gonna talk to her about this directly? Will that be...
She has long been harboring secrets and will not give them up easily, which makes it all the more...
All right, we'll leave it in your hands then. You're probably the best person to talk to her anyway.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fluvsandra is always open to you, as ever.
Fluvsandra.
All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special menu prepared for you two tonight.
Yay! And there's good food too! Ooh, dessert! Paimon's already starting to forget what happened today.
Oh, ini ada Mona, guys.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Lu ngapain di sini, guys? Anjir, dia malah nanya, Cok.
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian, are you, Mona?
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped... Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my... Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait, are you gonna have to put that into your gene?
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbaloth Trismegistus.
Astromancer Barbaloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one. Does it...
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice-as-great Scholar of the Stars.
Thrice as great? That's so...
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call her...
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further should you need to...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dornman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know...
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not a local, but there's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes.
Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take part in a panel and speak about the circulation of the prophecy as an astrologist. The invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word would go a long way to make things more...
What I can tell you, I'm afraid that... But on the flip side...
A visionary? Sounds really powerful.
Of course. The old hag could do it. And I'd bet there are others amongst those... All right, I'll help you.
Thanks, Mona. You're amazing as always.
Oh, well, this is something...
That's the greatest of astrologists for you. Of all the people we know, you know this stuff.
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us a... Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Our Fontaine... Good morning. To be honest, I'm still feeling... But it's time to get up, traveler.
Kantor New Pilit.
The wind rises.
You're here, finally.
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Nurvelet and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for...
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
Yang rambut panjang nih Furina kah?
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that, but you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry.
I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it.
There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed. Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot... Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious. But who will lend us...
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a...
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No, I don't...
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spot...
That was a little long-winded, don't you?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters.
Mirror's House. Oh, ini yang nama si artifact itu ya.
Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even a trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also... So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so myself.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing...
Calm and steady. Exactly the...
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those.
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why is that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So are we going hunting together?
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Okay.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked, well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, after all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all. Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one.
Ah, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
Minta tolong sama muridnya temanku.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Telat so easily be changed? Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about? It all sounds...
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part. This was good.
The voice.
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter. Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that steambird. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and...
did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist?
Daredevil journalist?
I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't read. Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the god...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be...
Whoa. The Hex and Zirkel sounds like a scary group.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like... Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Mana tuh?
Squall and Fury.
Yuk surat kabar, berarti di atas ya.
Wind rises.
Huh? Our names are... Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. But that does not mean that others cannot interact with it. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report? A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead. Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. We're here! Paimon's hug. Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices. It was so delicious the last time we tried.
One slice of cake, please.
Anjir, langsung ada pesan tadi.
Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can't.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
Usually every day.
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be...
But why would it...
Well, Paimon doesn't know either.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention. No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this... It's more delicious than last time. And the sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Upon Gale.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson sometime. It's all right, though. I've said it.
Really?
You're all...
Oh, Paimon knows.
Still, what brings you here?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you.
I see. So she mentioned...
She said that you're a real daredevil.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview?
Huh? So you're...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is to...
Yeah, are we even...
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it.
Oh, in that case...
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief. Ooh, so much to get done now.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article. But anyway, that's my answer.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Telat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask if you could choose. We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. You mean, still traveling? Huh. What?
Dan kalian pun dapat menghidup area kesibukan dari selain berlangsung dengan cara remote. Oke.
like it'll grow mold, but it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's...
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. Not at all. I'm well aware that your friend... Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a
riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an...
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone.
So, you mean she's still...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to... That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what good? Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation.
Don't worry, this is more than an...
Is that so? Well, all right then.
Okay.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for... And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, it would be hard for her to ignore... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and... Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can... In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson...
Kita ke Pozong.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's...
Oh, itu ada beneran, guys.
That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat me? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them. Oh, and I'm sure Nervillet and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line. That's against the rule.
Cabut lagi dia.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch...
Hilang.
This should be the place suppose haste is warranted.
Ini sempit betul.
Everyone's exhausted.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding.
It can't be. It's happening.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson. It's true.
Oi bang, oi.
I've been investigating the
Dap
prophecy
Jepang
for
furnya
hundreds
lucu
of
iya tah.
years.
Gue bisa
I
pakai
once
bahasa
had
Inggris soalnya.
informants all over Telat, searching for clues and feeding
Ini suaranya
information
yang
back to me.
Inggrisnya juga bagus sebenarnya. Yang Jepangnya siapa yang ngisi? Punya mata disuruh Telat.
I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time.
Kayak ada serak-seraknya gimana?
We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way. And the prophecy.
Terkenal pokoknya kagak tahu namanya sampai bohong anjing. Apa namanya? Gak ada yang gak terkenal, gue tahu yang ini doang tuh. Siapa sih pengisi suaranya si Dance Lift tuh? Yang kemarin rame juga. Yang pengisi Jepangnya si Dance Lift.
Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms.
Gue juga lupa tuh. Gue taunya si Dance Lift tuh. Oh sama ini pengisi suaranya si Zhongli tuh, si siapa sih? Yang apa namanya? Biasa ngisi suara juga. Terkenal juga tuh yang ngisi suara Inggrisnya Zhongli.
Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Share my burden.
Ngisi suara yang pakai kenakel ninju-ninju itu Jotaro. Ngisi suara yang ninju-ninju sih ini si Risley. Jotaro. Kayak gue pernah dengar Jotaro.
It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Maaf saja aku ini saksi.
Yes, I've heard that you came to Telat from beyond the stars, yes.
Dari luar angkasa aja. Kayak alien tadi.
And if Telat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
Nah ini ceritanya nih. Yang biasa ora. Oh iya tuh yang ora. Oh iya Jotaro itu apa sih? Gue lupa nama anime. Jojo Adventure itu ya. Ura. Oke. Oh, ini perangkapnya yang tadi disebutin, Cok. Masuk ke dalam situ tiba-tiba pindah ke pengadilan aja GG.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
Mengadili sang dewa. Nah iya, Jojo Bizarre Adventure. Gue belum nonton tapi itu.
You deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Ini duel si Klorin. Gue juga cuman ngambil nopal, gue juga ngambil sih itu doang di Village. Gue gacha Furina PT 80 belum dapet ya. Tapi red off sih. Kalau nggak dapet Furina ngambil Raiden Shogun paling nunggu. PT 3 kan Raiden Shogun tuh kalau nggak salah keluar ya. Riran lagi. Belum ada Shogun doang si Arkon. Sama ini Furina nambah 1.
It seems like you have made up your mind.
Hah?
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender. Looking for excuses again, huh? I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time.
Yang bawa senapan, oh si Klorin bawa senapan. Kebanyakan kata di sini gara-gara senjata random ada kenakal senapan banyak. Iya, Cok. Jadi dia tuh attack-nya bisa seenak dia, so katalis kan. Gak mesti kayak yang kayak pedang atau nggak pole arm gitu. Ini filletnya aslinya pakai ini kan, pakai apa yang tongkatnya dia tuh. Jadi kayak senjatanya tuh kayak pemanis aja gitu, pemanis sama nambahin stat.
I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you.
Okay.
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Fosalor, will now begin.
Aslinya dia cuma nyemburin air aja pakai tangan, Cok.
Oh, now we're making history.
Tapi emang sakit nih Villa tuh anjir. Kira Abby solo gampang tuh sama dia. Nge-heal bisa, damage sakit.
Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right? All right then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so?
Anjay. Kita awal-awal juga ngelawan Furina kan di sidang kan. Diakhiri dengan battle lagi, Cok. Pasti Teifat. Anjay.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates.
Oh, okay.
They changed into plain clothes and came to the opera house as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
Orang yang kejar aku kesana juga dari Spina di
And
Rosula.
their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
Tunjukkan saya sepanjang sejarah Fontaine.
That's right. That house was a magic box rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Arenias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very...
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
Oh, itu.
Oh, Leib Heimansi. Isn't this... Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of
diambil
evidence,
kejadian
as we
sepanjang
probably
perjalanan
want
kita
to
di
use
season 1.
something
Oh
from
ya.
our journey, let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Oke.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House.
Jadi penguasa hukum
That's one for the
klinik
hist.
berani
I
memberikan
didn't think
tentang
that
kasus
you'd
silang
wind up.
gadis
This is the
muda.
first time Monsieur Nervillet had a difference of
Mancal,
opinion with
pertemuan
the
dengan
Batoon.
Nih.
The Fortress of Merib, according to
Gangguan nonton. Oh iya, ini yang terakhir.
I nearly
Ini
lost my awesome
juga.
friend Navi. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be true.
Oke, ini sedikit recapnya ya. Gas.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervilette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your
Tumben
conduct
nih
as an
MC
Archon.
ada voice actor ya.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Arkon kedungan.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon.
Kira namanya penontonnya tak yakin anjing NPC yang kayak.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Fauchelor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that
Po, sepu, bantu saya
prosecutor have to
po.
make
Kenapa tuh
such
po?
a huge claim?
Sepu bilang sepu guys. Kalau sepu tuh ya, UID-nya biasanya 8000 tuh guys. Gue udah 8012, nggak sepu banget lah. Biarpun masih ID awal.
That common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever see. Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor.
Guys, kita fokus sama
Are you
ini.
sure
Apa?
you want to commit to a
Sama
charge
questnya
that will
dulu nih.
never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that you will
Tidak
not
saya
have
mah
to
pemula ntar tiba-tiba akunnya udah jadi semua guys karakternya.
Let's happen as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Ya, aku sudah nama dewa kan bukan dewa tidak.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist,
Kalau bantu subrek gimana? Subrek for subrek, guys.
believe I'm not and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Bukan Argo, kenapa bisa hidup 500 tahun lamanya? Oke. Padahal di balik kereta hilang pertemuan dengan teman-teman dia mau bahwa dia sudah ngomong bahwa Farina bukan Argo sebenarnya. Oh ini harusnya sih ini kan?
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse.
Mirip sejenis
But
kutukan.
in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity.
Ada yang Raffi ZT. Oh, ini banyak banget YT-nya. YT.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervalet?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Oke. Oh, udah simbang lagi nih Oratrisnya.
Don't start celebrating
Udah
too
simbang lagi
early
nih.
now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being?
Sekarang aku benar-benar kena kutukan pun dari mana kamu bisa menyimpulkan kalau aku cuma manusia biasa?
Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Yang itu membuktikan sebaliknya Farina tidak bisa mengandalkan aktris sama sekali. Oh iya. Penghakiman child. Ini dia, bro.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
Hak Anda untuk mengajukan pembelaan cabut.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience.
Ngeles terus
How can I
dia.
just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Yang gampang.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All
Aku mendapat
Archons
kekuatan dari
derive
keyakinan
their
warga
power
yang
from the
akan
faith of the
keyakinan warga
people,
terhadap
and I've converted
twisted the people's faith in
Ngeles
justice into
terus.
indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no...
Halo.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse. Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal? Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
Kalau dia cuma manusia, sebelumnya disyukur bahwa zona terang bawah dan bangunannya air belum hampir bisa beberapa kekuatan Niflet, kita bisa mengatasinya untuk sementara waktu. Bentar guys, yang mana nih? Oh benar anjir.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh enggak deh. Kita bersamaan. Bilang gue ini gak sih guys?
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate...
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with...
super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I
Nyela
swear
mulu
this
orang.
really will be the last time that I'll speak now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the air, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Turun dia beneran.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate...
She's just staring at the water without saying...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Pegang beneran tuh.
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am
your Archon. I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall upon—
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend—
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds.
Diperiksa dulu.
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans. When exposed—
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct— However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to We don't want anyone else to lose their—
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low— It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used.
I can't believe you— Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Archon berarti dia.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think that—
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Jatuhan putusan.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Kardinal. Kenapa ada nadanya dia udah ngomong aja.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus.
Namun kelamatan keluar seperti
Hydro Archon, guilty.
Archon Hydro bersalah.
To be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
Huh?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so worship.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
What does it mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Any mission Father assigns to me will all...
Bawa tablet batu ke atas panggung dan...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Analis kardinal, analis kardinal.
So what do you see? What is it?
Yang mengarahkan kekuatannya.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Oceanid, manusia.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paima will do her best to help you remember.
Pilih untuk melihat deskripsi yang tergambar di atas tablet batu dan mengambil informasi penting darinya.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
Okay.
Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paima wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after...
Tablet batu dari runtuhan menunjukkan ramalan berdasarkan sejarah masa depan bagian pertama yang hilang dan telah kekuatannya untuk Oceanid menjadi manusia.
know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Tuhan menunjukkan ramalan yang menjelaskan sejarah masa depan. Ini adalah bagian dari Celestia yang melayang di dalam organ itu dan para pengikut yang memuja bersama-sama di langit mesti menjatuhkan pada mereka.
That doesn't sound... That doesn't...
Huh?
That doesn't...
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
Peruntuhan menunjukkan ramalan dan sejarah masa depan dalam bagian ketiga, menggambarkan organ Hydra yang tenggelam. Nah ini.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Bisa jadi. Skandal.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you can make sense. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vache dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the Archon to be guilty. It's to
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us.
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life.
Nyender, enak nih guys, nyender.
Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process.
Isipkan air lautan primordial ke dalam jaringan pembuluh para Oceanid.
But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Di akhir, sebenarnya apa sumber dari bencana?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Oh, ini guys, berarti. Mana yang si child itu nih?
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Oke. Oh, ini cowok pausnya, cowok. Oh, ini si child nih guys. Nice. Abyss real manjas. Apa tuh tadi maksudnya?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Telat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
Berasal dari monster pengelana yang mengarungi lautan bintang. sambil menangis.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Telat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter...
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
To hack.
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I could...
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else, too. if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon, alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, Her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and
Swollen Fury!
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Semua lampu sorot.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The gods shall resolve it soon enough.
Upon the gale.
Solidify! Order guide you!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Wind Strider. Cry louder. Search for it.
Tiket. Adegan 1 di hadapan cermin. Oke.
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're near me? How
Oh,
can
lebih
this
tinggi ya
be?
karakternya.
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain.
Oh, very good.
What's going on? I can't seem to
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope. As for the suffering, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other.
I suppose this would also be... Huh? Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but so, how long
to accomplish, but
a trial? Huh. How exciting. I'll be looking forward.
Pidato pengangkatan. Gak bisa lari lagi ya?
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon.
Verena de Fontaine.
In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor as the god Focalor, the god of justice. I shall do all with... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send this. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone right? Mirmi said that I just need to play the calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive, with a strong sense of
Menguasai
presence.
keadaan bisa mengusir
One
segala
who
keraguan
can
seperti
dispel all
karang.
doubt. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow, and my dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its god. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the... There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
One day. Kan bisa lari.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House? Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what...
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things.
Sidang dari segala sidang.
That's true, I fear I lack the ability...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Oh, I'm afraid that's all right. Deuteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future...
You're such a gentle...
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come.
Well, as I understand it,
Really? Have they found?
I'm afraid that they...
Oh, is that so? Well... The day is finally over. I have... But it's good to see that everything... Maybe this is fine.
Gedung opera. Pas saya gak bisa dibaca aja.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest...
There'll be no need for...
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear loyal...
Oh, dia makin jago gitu ya.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the...
Ini hari gitu terus, Cok.
I don't think I feel utterly exhausted.
Banyak banget adegan. Buset. Adegan 18, buset 18.000, 2 buset banyak betul,
Lady
Cok.
Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close. I've heard that the first member of our...
And what a fine family.
Are you crying?
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god who's...
No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then.
Wow.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined have I reached my limit. I want to tell someone, anyone. I've conducted so many investigations. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this.
Adegan 182.000. Ini adegan sampai 182.000.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that is... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as... No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard for... Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might think about it long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
Saksikan pertunjukan ini.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive your... She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity was the right decision.
I believe that I understand how your deception works. But that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontanians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the oratories. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked.
Whoa.
Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all others. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontanians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Nervillet, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what of...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervillet. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Judex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a...
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Okay. Pak Dung Dung.
We're going to execute it? But how are we going to do that? It's huge!
I've already done my best to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from the way. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together.
Yang terbang-terbangan mulu tuh.
You're feeling the sorrow turning into hostility.
Behold!
Ah, hancurinnya gimana anjing?
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Too slow.
Clouds high. Birds come. Wind strike. Wretched vermin. Behold.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Solidify. This is order.
Ini lagunya enak tuh.
Quietly now. Game's up. Time's over.
Nah itu dia lagi, oh ternyata itu dia misahin si primordial ini ada sama. Oke. Dia dibuang aja. Dilempar.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well.
Oh well.
It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Mau adakan sesi pelatihan pendek, tapi di sana muridku malah bertarung melawan peliharaan guru.
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Pedang 3 juta kali untuk menebus kesalahan.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Hyman has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less tacky.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world.
Masih mengalahkan all-devouring narwhal tanpa menggunakan kekuatan.
So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk?
The point...
Well, being that this pet, so what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So his name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Sertologi.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
Foul?
How should I describe him then? Have you...
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine-daughter's part of the Hexenzerk, circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhindaughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfect.
Wait, didn't you also mention of...
Actually, never mind that. I believe that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into... In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh, ini udah tenggelam cok fonten.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Tapi nggak kenapa-napa cok. Orang-orang.
Hey! Help! Over here!
Banjir cok. Oh, ini kapalnya si Risley anjir.
All hands initiate
Beneran
emergency
dipakai.
rescue. Hurry! Hey, lend a hand.
Anjir GG. Bisa berenang sendiri padahal.
Look! The water's receding!
Oh ya, era turun. Langsung turun lagi era.
It's a miracle! We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Ada yang meninggal ya GG.
The prophecy was wrong.
WOW. Wow, wow, wow.
The soil renewed. The Sehari Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with
Keadaan
Miss
prostatin
Navia.
dan catatan
Old
depannya.
soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie with skyship winglet. Lunar
Kalau
brain
depan
And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Juria and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, the value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even you.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute.
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that.
Are you sure?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on,
Let's
head to Poisson first.
Okay. Alright. Air mata lautan bintang. Ganti char. Oh enggak, Cok. Adegan terakhir. Oh, dapat konstelasi. Oke guys, kayaknya kita bakal sudahi live stream untuk kali ini. Kita lanjutkan besok-besok ya guys ya. Jangan lupa di like dulu videonya dan jangan lupa dibagikan guys. Thank you semuanya. Selamat malam, bye bye.